All right, so we just swung by the store and we're picking up a box blade, 8-foot box blade for the John Deere, because we're clearing all that land and already there's some grass trying to grow here and there, and instead of like trying to mow grass with that brush hog and have an uneven surface, I want to get it bladed out. So we swung by the store today and we're gonna grab one because they're low in stock. Big surprise, like everywhere. But if you've watched this channel anytime, you know that people like to assault my flatbed with a forklift, and let's see if today is anything like the other couple times. The best one thus far is the trailer axles, picking up from the, I think it was a FedEx warehouse or UPS, one of the two, it doesn't matter. But the guy rammed my truck bed like, and it was like 5 times, and then got into my fuel tank, my aux tank, which fortunately that's 11 gauge steel, so if it had been any less, he probably would have punctured it. But hopefully today is better than the previous forklift experiences, so let's go see.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You have a good one.
Gotta love these fuel prices. Cut me off at $1.25, and that's 30 gallons in the aux tank in the bed, and then 5 in the truck. So let's start this thing back over.
Oh, how I miss these fuel prices.
Oh dang, it's because she was full. Bending it. You can see these right here. They kind of do this S-shaped thing, which is not how it was when I bought it. And this is at least like some 1/2-inch steel here. So this is a Cat 2 tractor. It's a 50 horsepower Cat 2 3-point, but you can squeeze it down and buy adapters and get it down to Cat 1 attachment, which is what this box blade is. And when I bought this, I was looking at it and I'm like, man, there's 1/2-inch thick plate steel all over this thing. That's got to be plenty for this tractor, 8 foot wide, you know. But turns out that's not the case. So what we're gonna do here, loosen these bolts up, try and smash this metal back to where it should be, And these bolts like this, these bowed. So we're going to reinforce those, maybe with a piece of pipe across, or, you know, in some plate steel here and there. But we're going to loosen these bolts up, try and beat this back into where it belongs, and then we're going to reinforce it, probably a piece of metal along here, perpendicular to this one, and then guss it down in here, because you can see that took on a nice little bow there. And then what I'm eventually going to do is put 2 more ears out here so that we're at the Cat 2 width, and drill these out to be these ears here, drill them out, or at least this one, drill it out to be the Cat 2 dimensions, as opposed to the Cat 1. So this is still a nice box blade. I like it. It's just a little lighter duty, I guess, which it's an 8-foot box blade. You'd think, like, I'm not abusing it out here. I've already pulled all the stumps out of the ground. There was maybe like one that I found with the scarifiers, or the scarifiers. There's maybe one stump out here, like a little one that I missed, and the scarifiers grabbed it. But this thing just kind of folded up into, you know, this pretzel it currently is in. So let's get this loosened up, beat it out. We'll keep these bolts in place, and tighten them back down, but there's no reason I can't run a bead down there to keep it from pivoting. I'm sure they come like this so that all this stuff can lay flat in shipping, and they take up half as much space as it would otherwise. But we're not worried about that anymore. So we're going to get it back into position and just run some beads all over the place. And what we have set up is, I just picked up this 12,000 watt Duramax generator off of Amazon. It was an Amazon warehouse. So I got it for like $400 off a normal price, which is pretty nice. And this is definitely big enough to run a house, and more than big enough to run my welder on the 240 volt. But today we're just going to be running the welder on the 120, and probably just kind of tacking stuff in place if we get to that point. Well, it's about to get noisy. Yeah, I think we're going to pull those and figure something else out over here. All right, so along the bottom here, these teeth were getting knocked back, and even though there's a fair amount of material up here, and the nice thick weld right there, it was still pushing, kind of kicking the teeth back that way. And at the same time, it's kind of elongating these holes up here in a couple spots. Like you can see that one right there kind of notched itself. Same with this one where the key goes. But there's really not going to be anything we can do with that unless we reinforce it later. But what I did down here was added angle iron the entire length. And I'm just using scraps that I have laying around. And also there's quite a bit of porosity in that weld, which is going to be plenty strong. But just the conditions out here and my lack of cleaning it up, it's just a farm implement, so I'm not that worried about it. And that gave us an opportunity to throw a couple welds on these here as well while we have it upside down. So I want to throw a couple more welds up on that and flapper wheel that so it's not so sharp. I'm going to try and knock down most of these corners, because if we leave those corners, they're inevitably going to rip somebody's leg open. So we're going to knock off a lot of the sharp stuff and then probably just throw a little coat of paint on it. Probably grab some black spray paint the next time I'm out here, knock the rust off it, and just paint it up. All I have out here right now is that John Deere green. So I just threw that on the bottom here because you're never going to see that, and it's probably going to wear itself away and rust anyway. But this is going to be way stronger than it was. I threw this solid rod in here just to keep these from flexing out like the other ones did. The other ones were 1/2 inch. These are like 3/8 because, again, it's the stuff I have around. But I feel like the way that I have them, and the fact that I've welded this here, same on the other side and on the back side, there's going to be a lot less energy transferred on those diagonals. So we're going to finish welding this up real quick, throw her back up, and get her hooked back up to the tractor. All right, so these are pretty blown out. They look factory to me. See this one here? Still got the sleeve in there. But you can see they're pretty blown out. So we're going to cut those off. And we bought some replacement ones for it, so